Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is December 14th, 2020, and this is episode 155. Today we're going to take a look at Lady Death, not Lady Macbeth, but Lady Death. This is Blasphemy Anthem number 1, one of 2. Now, more importantly, this is actually chapter 10, part 1, and we'll go into that a little bit more in just a moment. First of all, we just want to mention this is a Coffin Comics comic. It was $4.99, and like I said, this is one of 2. And this is the standard edition. Very nice cover. We got kind of the nice triangular posing here. Now, this actual shot does not occur in the comic. This is kind of just showing who is going to be part of the alliance that is going to be built up around Lady Death. I always want to say Lady Macbeth, but it's Lady Death here. And as you can see, she's drawn real nice. She's got this almost like some kind of energy frost sword. I'm not sure about it. There wasn't any backstory about her in this book. There was a short blurb about the story so far, but this really doesn't help you out. And really quickly, we just want to say, because I missed it the first time I tried this, it was co-written by Brian Pulido and Mike McLean. And Brian Pulido, I believe, is the creator of Lady Death. And I think this was on another publisher did this before Coffin Comics, if I'm not mistaken. And Brian took it with him when he left. I think that's the story. But don't quote me on that. Get that quote from somebody else. Okay, just also want to mention that the editor, there doesn't appear to be an editor for this particular book, but they do have an editor at the publisher, Nick Gallegos. And the reason I'm pointing that out is I saw some text errors in here, not so much things spelled wrong, but it's almost like they used the spell checker to be the editor, and so sometimes the wrong, it didn't catch the phrasing correctly. So I know that one name, like the name Gunner, there's a proper name that has N-A-R at the end, and then there's also the noun that they use for someone shooting one that's N-E-R, and both of those spellings show up in here, and they're both correct. And then there was a couple other ones I thought were oddly worded, and I think it was because it's just spell checked. It wasn't closely looked at by an editor, but that's just my own opinion on it. The other thing I want to point out is the art and the colorist. The art was done by Diego Bernard and colored by Cici de la Cruz. Very nice job. They also worked on the cover. This particular cover, there's as you can see, there is a number of other covers here. So the art was great. It was fantastic comic book art, just the kind you like to see in a regular comic book. Nothing too abstract. A lot of action in here. Well drawn. The women look beautiful. The men are handsome and rugged. Just everything you could want in a comic book as far as the art goes. Now my complaint. Here it comes. If you've never read Lady Death before, and you pick up this issue to start with, and you think so, it's the start of a new arc, you are going to be totally lost. The action was good, it was fun to follow, but I had no clue who these characters were, what their intentions were, what the relationship was between each other. At times I didn't know if they were enemy or friends, and I kind of figured it out by the end, but I know there's deeper stories for each one of these characters, and that was probably covered in the first 9 chapters. So what I'm recommending here, if you are interested in Lady Death, is you go back and you get that first trade. That said, let's take a quick look at some of the art in here, and you can see what I'm talking about. It's really, really nice and exciting. There were some other things in here like Vinda, who's this of the winds. She's one of the enemies. Her look keeps changing a little bit. So here she looks like she's got kind of a conservative dress on. like a summer dress or something. But then we see her. I figured that this is her over here as well. It looks like she's suddenly got like a bustier on, and she's heading for the nightclub. But there might be another piece of cloth up here that floats up when she does her magic, but I'm not sure. But then one more time, we see her down here, and she appears to have a Venetian boob window on that dress. So that was very confusing, and they're just introducing characters like crazy. Like the first 3 pages, there's like 10 characters. And if you've never read this before, you're just like, what? Who's that? And you're going back and forth. I think I read the first 5 pages 5 times, just trying to acclimate myself to who was what and what was going on. But it was very exciting. I wanted to know more about it. And here's another group that gets kind of portaled in. And I believe this is her Lady Death's son, Gunnar. And this woman, I see her here and here, and I wasn't sure who she was. She just seemed to all of a sudden appear. And she's called Mother, so I'm assuming that's Lady Death's daughter. And I thought maybe it was this woman here, but I don't think it is. This is chaotic, by the way. And she's always seems to be rather calm, no matter what. And she is an ally to Lady Death, even though she kind of has a mean look to her. So I'm not sure who this woman is. And then they bring in another character right here who I couldn't figure out what the heck she was or who she was or what her purpose was. I'm assuming she might be some kind of police officer or a reporter or something like that. It's not really explained, but I guess she's got feelings for Gunnar, the son, as far as I can tell. And here we get Vindu again, and her dress has kind of gone back to normal with the regular, more conservative looks. So Lady Death takes a beat down in this one. She's really knocked around a lot. And then we also jump around a lot. So we go to, I think that starts in Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken. And suddenly we're at this apartment and these other new characters who I have no idea who they are. I'm sure they're introduced in the other issues, the previous chapters. This is a father and that's a daughter. I think her name is Hanayai, something like that, Hanaya. And these are two brothers, the Xander brothers. Okay, and then, so this, I think this is Phoenix, but I'm not sure. Then we go over to Volograd, and we have these guys, and suddenly this group has been portaled out of Phoenix to the desert. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a little strange to say the least, but it was exciting, and it's well drawn. They're trying to get away, and suddenly those three, the earth demon, the wind demon, and the fire demon all come back in again to attack. They were not able to lose them. So you can see there's the wind demon again creating some kind of sandstorm. And they see the word Vivian. So I'm not sure who Vivian is. If it's, I think that might be Vivian. I'm not sure. I think Lady Death's regular name is Macy, though, as far as I can tell. But, oh, and here you can see, so you have Gunnar, and then we have Gunnar up here. Gunnar. So that was one of the things I spotted in here. That was not correct. Not that I'm really looking for those, but they just kind of take you out of the moment when you're reading these things. Look at these splash panels, just wonderful art. You see a lot of this all the way through. She gets her fire blasted. She's been wind blasted. She's been attacked by the earth demon. Then you see a nice picture of all three of them. That just, the chromatic scale there is wonderful. And there's Lady Death getting another beat down and getting moved around, and they portal her out. In the meantime, we go to another place in New York City. This is Church of the Sisterhood. And this is a little confusing because I see guys in here. I see a guy with a mohawk. Let's see, where's the guy? I think that's a guy. I'm not sure. Then you got Vince Van Patten here. Gunnar Nelson there. Yeah, I mean, just guys with the sisterhood. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And they seem to be kind of groupies of Lady Death. Then somewhere in the Pacific, we're on the ship, and we've got Bobby Sherman and Marlo Thomas sitting here, and they want Lady Death dead, and they have some. I think they have something to do with the two dudes back in Volograd, but I'm not sure. And everybody thinks that Lady Death is the bad guy, by the way, on the regular citizens of Earth, but she's actually trying to stop things, but she's getting the bad rap in this. And then we get another character pop in here, Rada. Well, they talk about Rada, but Rada was in another issue, I guess, and she's not here. So I don't know. This is I'm Tina Steelheart, right hand to Rada Beauregard. So Rada Beauregard doesn't show up, but Tina Steelheart does. So then we get this other character here. Well, I believe this is the two characters from the apartment before, but I am not 100% sure. This guy's getting some kind of transfusion that may kill him. I think it is, because there it is. I think it is Hanaya. So they're trying to fix him. Father was dying. I guess they do. And then all of a sudden we pop back to Venice, Italy, or over to Venice, Italy, and this is going on here. Then looks like they go down to where the Hellborn is, which is another group. There's all these different sects and groups in here, and it's really jumping around a lot, so it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. Now, I don't know if this is the Bobby Sherman and the Marlo Thomas that were on the ship before, that yacht in the Pacific, but there could be, or it could be two others. I'm just not 100% sure who they are. I'm sure it is explained more closely in the other chapters. And we have Lady Death showing up with Tina, and this is Archangel Michael now joining them as well. So they have convinced Lady Death that she shouldn't try to take all these folk on alone, that they're too dangerous, they're too powerful, that Tina wants to put together a group to help her out, and she goes ahead and agrees. And she shows out why, is there's this pattern of destruction that is showing up. And here's the group she has put together, and some of these we've seen in previous issues. This is the daughter of Satan, Satanus. And here's our Tina Steelheart, I think her name, Archangel Michael, Warmoth. You can see he's got like a case of abs there, not just a six-pack. It goes below the belt there. I'm assuming it keeps going down there. The Xander brothers. I think that's Gunner. Oh no, they have him here. I can't read his name. Hellslinger. So I'm not sure who that is exactly. Someone else they brought on, and then this sorcerer here, and Chaotica right there, and Lady Death there. So this is the team. I'm sure there's other members of it. They're just not showing everybody yet, but I'm sure they will in time. And then we get this other shot here of there's Vivian. I think that's Vivian. And there's the guy that was getting the transfusion that's breaking loose. So, yeah. If you're interested in Lady Death and you've never read it before, get the first volume. I think that will explain a lot. I am totally lost. I enjoyed what I read, but I'm totally lost. Here they give you some information on getting some art books, The Art of Lady Death, and then they do talk about shopping online and getting hardcovers, trades, back issues, limited editions, trading cards, all sorts of stuff. And another character they're coming out with, Hell Witch. She might have been out for a while. I'm not familiar with her. And then there's these Hell Witch comics over here. Same deal as Lady Death. So I guess she's been out for a while. I just don't I just don't recognize her. Okay, here are hardcovers for Lady Death and a paperback. Same thing here, hardcover, paperback. And it's Lady Death Rules Volume 1, so I'm not sure if that is the very first issues of Lady Death or if that's another arc. So be careful if, find out ahead of time. If like I said, I think Lady Death was with another publisher originally, so there might be information on that. And just a lot of Lady Death, Coffin Comics advertisements. So, as I recommend, please read the first 9 chapters before taking this one on, or else you'll be totally lost like I was. But it looks to be a good, solid comic. I think Brian Pulido has come up with a great character and a great backstory, but obviously the backstory is not in this issue, so I think you have to go back and read all about it. It looks like every one of these characters might have some sort of backstory as well. So if you enjoyed what you saw here, I would advise you to go ahead and start getting the trades. And I know Brian Pulido I've seen his booth at many of the major Comic Cons, so I'm sure he probably goes to the ones all through the nation. I've seen him at like WonderCon, and I'm sure he goes to San Diego Comic Con, and I think I've even seen him at like the Long Beach Comic Con. So he's been around. He does show up at some of the larger ones. Okay, so this is Indie Comics Jones. Thank you for stopping by. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments. Tell me if you like the new thumbnails, if they ever start showing up correctly. I tried to upgrade it a little bit, make it a little more bling-ish, and see if you like those. Okay, tell me what you think. And as always, this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Thank you for stopping by as I bid you adieu.